An exhaust fan can prevent mold, get rid of smells, and keep your boat cooler. But installing one in your deck is expensive and potentially leaky, right? Well, hello there. I'm Carolyn Sherlock, and on this episode of the Boat Galley Podcast, I'll tell you about a simple exhaust fan that doesn't require a tricky installation and that can be removed in bad weather in about 30 seconds. And it's a bargain compared to those big through-deck ones. Okay, today's episode of the Boat Galley Podcast is sponsored by Mantis Marine, makers of the Mantis Anchor, now available in models with and without a roll bar. Proven to set reliably in the most challenging bottoms, the Mantis Anchor digs in like no other, making anchoring safer and boating more enjoyable. Frankly, it's what we trust Barefoot Gal to, and we've had a couple of nasty situations where the Mantis Anchor has held us securely. Mantis Marine brings to market practical, durable, and affordable marine products, including anchoring gear, scuba diving accessories, and rechargeable waterproof headlamps for hands-free lighting and solar charging nav light. Visit mantismarine.com and see for yourself. Okay, so let's talk about exhaust fans. An exhaust fan is a wonderful thing in a galley or a head. Most that you see are permanent through-deck installations. Now, while these are better than a simple Dorade, they're a real pain to install, and they're incapable of being installed so that they would be safe for offshore passages. They also cost about $150 each, and we've found that we've had to replace them every 2 to 3 years. Now, several years ago, I found something that's much better. It's cheaper, there's virtually no installation, and it's totally removable in case of bad weather. Oh, and they move more air. It's called a port fan from a company called SV Hotwire. It looks like a computer fan that you bungee to an open port, but it moves way more air than any computer fan I've ever seen. When I first saw one of these on my friend Jan's boat, she's the one I wrote the Boat Galley Cookbook with, I thought it was just a computer fan, and I know they move an okay amount of air, but nothing astounding. Then we were boiling pasta. I saw the steam coming from the pan and going straight up to the fan, and presumably out the port. I couldn't really see the steam once it hit the fan. That is not a computer fan with that much pull. Now, these fans do require power, unlike the solar ones, but they only take about 6 amp hours per day when you have it on low, and that's if you run it full time 24 hours a day. It can be plugged into a cigarette lighter or hardwired, and now you can get it with any length cord that you want. These port fans come from SV Hotwire, and we've put a link in the show notes for you. The company is owned and run by a couple of cruisers. Now, on high speed, the fans will move about 4 times as much air as a computer fan. And they also do have another model. It takes a little bit more power, but it does move more air. You can ask for that one if you want it. And depending on which way you turn it, you'll either pull outside air in, or, my favorite use for it, exhaust the galley or head. You can bunge it to a port, or you could Velcro it into place. Either way, it's really easy to remove when the weather turns bad, or if you're going on an offshore jaunt and don't want to risk having a wave come in. There's no hole in the boat to leak. These are wonderful for places where you just have a small amount of space to mount a fan. It's about 5 inches square versus 8 inches diameter for the Caframo fans that I really like. And it's less than half as deep as the Caframo fans. Quieter too. Even though I don't have problems with the noise of the Caframo, they aren't that noisy. The downside is that it's about the same price as a Caframo, and it moves about half as much air. However, it is rated to last about 8 years in continuous use, and my experience with Caframo is that they die after 4 or 5 years of usually on use. If you look for these sometime when you don't have the link that we've got in the show notes, you Google for it, be sure to put the SV at the beginning of SV Hotwire. Otherwise, you'll just get Hotwire, which is, of course, the travel site. Okay, I hope you've learned something today, found out about a wonderful new product, and are excited about everything that's happening on your boat. Please do me a favor, tell your friends about us, and be sure to leave a review if you like us. Thanks.